a GT race was added on, and it has grown and grown in popularity. The free practice session then is underway. 30 minutes that we have with one or two well-known names in this, like Adrian da Silva, like Darrell O'Young, for example, who has been a winner here in the past. There, reluctant to get going at the moment, is Andrew Harrianto's Audi. The team's still working on that to try to fire up the engine, but the marshal was busily allowing everybody else through so they can clear the holding area. Lin Kang's Lamborghini goes through, and so the track, Alan Hyde, is live.
GT3 cars around the Macau Gear circuit are something to relish. We've enjoyed it very much over the past few years, and of course we have GT3 cars as part of next weekend, the 4-day meeting for the Macau Grand Prix weekend, with the GT World Cup next weekend, which is something to say. But we've got GT3 cars this weekend with the Greater Bay Area GT Cup for GT4 cars we've just had on circuit. GT3 cars today. We now have out on circuit as our final free practice session of the morning before qualifying gets underway this afternoon for race day tomorrow here for a celebration weekend. And it is the celebration of the 70th Macau Grand Prix here this weekend. And the place is absolutely bustling, so every hotel that you go to, the excitement, you can measure the fact that it's a 2-weekender this weekend to celebrate each decade. They did the same 10 years ago for the 60th celebration, and 2 weekends this year with some interesting races over the course of this weekend, and races that have indeed been topping the bill over the last couple of years here at Macau. So these are great races in their own right.
Well, Darrell O'Young, who we saw a couple of years ago have that big shunt going down towards Lisboa, but won the GT Cup in the following day's race in 2021.
Which was a remarkable story,
wasn't it? Yes, having quarantined as well to do it.
Yeah.
He's probably going to start as the favourite, but amongst the others there is Chris Cha, who we've got used to seeing in GT4 machinery of late. There is Kevin Say, who is busy racing normally in British GT, but has also been in GT World Challenge Europe in the past. Kang Ling, who we saw in FIA Formula 3 for a time, the BMW there of Rancoon fan, showing just how tight the Melco hairpin is. These cars, of course, bigger, wider than their GT4 brethren. It's all a little bit of a struggle on the first lap, just as drivers work out exactly where the line is and where they need to be to get the lock to kick in.
Well, we said this earlier on, didn't we, about getting around the Melco hairpin and use the GT3 cars as the example. How are they going to work? Well, with an awful lot of precision is the answer.
Well, so far so good, as they come booming over the line. So Darrell O'Young's Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes, certainly one to watch, as onto a flying lap go those early drivers out of the pit lane. Lin Kang's Lamborghini over the timing line. 61 is the Adrian da Silva Porsche, the EBM entered car, EBM Earl Bamber Motorsport. Earl himself racing next week in the FIA GT World Cup. But Darrell O'Young really ought to be the class of this field, I would have thought. He knows the circuit inside out. He's got a good strike rate here. He's a very experienced, very versatile driver of single-seaters to touring cars to GT cars. And so let's just focus on this lap. This is Lisboa, turns through the right-hander, and then the Mercedes powering its way now up the hill.
So the fact our commentary box is trackside, so we look down on the grid, we can also hear the cars and the different tones of engines and the different rumble of the commentary box is something to savour, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, the Mercedes has a very distinctive engine, though. So do the Porsche, so do the Lamborghinis. And close your eyes, you can just about tell what car's going past you anyway, because they all sound so different. Darrell O'Young, then, doing purples, doing absolute bests then in the sectors right now.
First 2 sectors go purple for Darrell O'Young, car 55, the car we're looking at now. And this is, yeah, that's unfortunate there, because a bit of traffic in front. I thought he had clear track. I was about to say, looked as if he had clear track, but not quite now. And this is not a good part of the circuit to have clear track.
But I always get the feeling with Darrell O'Young that he's comfortable in doing this. Okay, I have to walk that lap.
Yeah.
Just sit, and I know I can go through. I know the track, I know the car.
Yeah.
Whereas other drivers that we've seen have a little bit more urgency about getting through.
Impatience.
Yeah.
That's the word, isn't it? Yeah, we've seen a bit of that.
And Darrell's, look, he's quite happy. He's backed out of that lap.
Yeah.
He's let the BMW go, and he can strike again, because he knows what the circuit's like. So for him, this isn't about doing a time. This is more about just being comfortable in the car. Yeah, got that line there. Yeah, feels okay here. Working through a programme.
Threaded around Melco hairpin as if the car was nowhere near as big as it was. It made it look very easy indeed. And that's good, because it sets up the start of a quick lap, doesn't it? And now there is a more of a sense of urgency, because a little flash of the lights to say, I'm here, I'm not going to be held up again, and I'm going to go on to a quick lap now. So makes the move, gets past the BMW, and is about to start what will be, hopefully, a clearer lap.
And getting out of the way, Rancoon fan in the BMW. So through goes Darrell O'Young to go top of the times, 2:29.374. There is Lin Kang behind in the Lamborghini. Number 3 there is Alex Liu with the Elegant Racing Team Mercedes. Another good name for a team. And there is a busy old section down at Lisboa, including the Aston Martin Vantage of Anderson Hood. So, good variety. Move left or right, Mr. Cameraman, out of our way.
Yes.
Nice shot for you, but you're helping.
It is a good shot, yeah. but not for us.
Yeah, well, you made your point. Move along now, please. So, number 3, Alex Liu, as I was saying, he's the next one to look for. Regular touring car driver. He did do one event this year, actually, in Europe, in the GT4 European Series. But he raced in Lamborghini Baía. He was 7th in TCR Asia a few years back. So, again, he's an experienced driver and doing personal best in sectors 1 and 2 on this lap.
Darryl Young, meanwhile, although top of the times, that wasn't the ultimate quick lap, was it, for Darryl Young? But this time it's looking a little bit tastier because sectors 1 and 2 have gone purple. So, overall best for Darryl Young on those first 2 sectors, kind of a 55. Here we go. Darryl Young in the predominantly white, blue and red machine is now not going to be held up. That's good news. So Alex Liu gets neatly out of the way for a fellow Mercedes driver, and Darryl Young can press on. Around Don Maria, that long left-hander.
The car slightly getting away from him there, just had a little bit of a slide as he applied the power. So Darryl Young able to catch that, gets through the hairpin.
He's got purple sector 3,
yeah.
3 purples.
Okay, so at the moment he's just under 6/10 quicker.
4 purples.
Lin Kang, 4 purples. Right, it's like a casino slot machine this going for you with all the cherries aligning on the fruit machine. Right, so Darryl Young, 4 out of 5 in terms of purple sectors, absolute best. Therefore he's going for 5 out of 5. Also improving is Min Hang. You can see what he can do, but here comes Darryl Young now, and he is up towards the line and goes quickest again with 5 absolute best. It's the perfect lap. So 2:22.349. Briefly, Min Hang did go quicker, but ends up third because it's Darryl Young from Lin Kang once more. Lin Kang there in the gold and black Lamborghini.
So 1.7 seconds the advantage that Darryl Young has over Lin Kang in second position, car number 6. This is only free practice, but it's a joy to hear and to see the GT3 cars out on circuit. Not surprisingly, we've been focused a little bit on Darryl Young because, as you said at the start of the session, it was really... Well, you're laughing at the photographer still being
yes.
He's moved over a bit.
A touch, yes.
Just a little bit.
Darryl Young's backed off. There was also there, I thought, a little bit of activity at the Melco hairpin, suggesting that either somebody had run wide or they were trying to steer people back towards an apex. But anyway, I think the road is clear. There's no suggestion of a yellow flag. That's the Aston Martin going through. Anderson, that's Lin Kang, who did also come to Europe many years ago to race in French Formula 4, in FIA Formula 3.
Aston Martin has stopped at a really awkward place as well.
So it's only just gone through shot, hadn't it, Anderson?
Yeah. And the car has just stopped.
It's the Indonesian driver, you're right. So what often happens in a situation like this, the race director will give them half a minute because that's, if you like, the power cycle. If, for example, it's stalled, then let them try and get everything on rather than throwing a red. We've got a yellow flag out because of it, but if the driver can get it fired up and move it, then so much better. And that's what's being done from race control at the moment.
I'm a big fan of the Aston Martin green.
Yes.
And that car up close looks spectacular, just gorgeous. Yesterday, as we were making our way around, with the sunshine looking down, oh no, it hasn't rebooted, red flag.
Red flag.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I think they got further than anyone else.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah. So, mechanical problem rather than an accident, but red flag for Anderson He in number 17. So let's have a look. There is Lin Kang's Lamborghini. Oh, no, he has hit.
Oh, he did.
Hit the wall?
Well,
I think he went wide, didn't he?
There was dust, at very least.
So he's either hit the wall and something's broken or something broke, but yeah, I fear there was contact.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So, red flag, and Darryl Young tops the times at 2:22.349 as the GT3 cars make their way down into pit lane. Lin Kang is second, car number 6, 2:24.090, which means 1.7 seconds behind Darryl Young.
So
I think you predicted Darryl Young would be quickest in this session, didn't you? I think you might have hedged your bets.
Yes, but only because he's so experienced. Yeah. Kevin Say, I think, is one to watch because he has raced here before and he's won the Macau Road Sport Challenge in the past, but his racing in Europe stood him in good stead. And the one I'm interested in actually is Chris Char, because we've seen him go well in the GT4 races, the GT Cup for the GT4 cars, but now stepping up to GT3 machinery, and let's see how he fares in this. Frustration for Anderson sorry to interrupt, but he just done 2 personal best on that lap, only to smoke the wall.
Yeah, and therefore is 9th in the rundown of the order. So Marshall's indicating for cars to head into pit lane, but they are on short call for the resumption of the session, which is good news. I don't imagine it would be too tricky to get the track clear again and get the cars back out. 17.5 minutes of the session remain. Darryl Young, top of the times, 2:22.349. And now our chance to see the cars up close, and there is nothing quite as enjoyable as seeing these liveries up close. That MGM-backed Lamborghini, livery Lamborghini, looks another one of the cars in the paddock yesterday that looked spectacular in the sunshine, absolutely gorgeous. That is Darryl Young, quickest at the moment, car 55. Having a chat to the team. Quite an arty shot of the car there with the tree just in front of it. Quite like that. Number 3 is Alex Liu. And make no mistake, we've talked about how unseasonably warm it was yesterday, today as well. And when you put your fireproof overalls on, your fireproof underwear, your helmet, and then strap yourself into a GT3 machine, this is hard work. This is hot, hard work. And the fact that teams are blowing air into the car is a very, very welcome thing. Drivers often say they don't really notice the temperature when they're actually on circuit. When they're going around, there's airflow around the car and things don't cook up inside so much, although the ambient temperature is high. But when they stop, when they're in the pit lane, that's when you really tend to notice it. Yes, they've got a matching colour recovery unit. How nice.
It's just not got quite the same price tag.
No.
Yeah. I just came back to your
but at the moment, it's slightly more useful.
Well, there is that. Yes, it goes. In double driver races, it's the start driver who often complains the most because they have to get suited and booted in advance, get in the car, drive to the grid, sit there for half an hour or so.
Exactly.
So they're desperate for rolling starts in order just to get some air through the car. But here, of course, the drivers knowing they've still got 15 minutes plus to go, so they're not getting out of the cars. And the shot there of the Vicente the Be Quick Absolute Racing Team. Chris Char. And the blower is just to cool him down a little bit.
Just any movement of air really inside the car, I think, is welcome.
But there's still quite a few we've not seen the best of. Adrian De Silva, for example, and he's further down than he really ought to be. And Henk Kicks as well, the man who owns Be Quick, which is a motor spares company. Used to be a by Ford, and he was part of a management buyout of that. And based these days in the region. He raced in Malaysia, where he lived for a time, raced in Thailand, where he lives. And he kicks another great enthusiast who's racing. There it is, the B-Kit car. That's Andrew Harrianto's sister car. Andrew Harrianto, who's also been a prolific racer of just about anything going, whether it's been Lamborghinis, Audis, Porsches, raced in the World Endurance Championship for the Dempsey Proton team. Winner of this year's Sepang 12 Hours as well.
3 more cars under investigation for the exiting the pit lane yellow line, which has been something we've seen in all of the 3 practice sessions this morning, which is the pit lane exit. And it's something which has been a feature of this morning. Let's hope it's not a feature of this afternoon when all of a sudden we get competitive for qualifying. The clock continues to count down, of course. This is a free practice session, so 13.5 minutes just over of the session remain. 3 flying laps have been completed. And when we get the session back underway, hopefully they will do 2 before too long, and we can see them get into groove, because they were just starting to do that, weren't they? Finding their place on track, finding clear track. It's a bit windy down there as well today. Trees blowing around.
It is. The sun hasn't really broken through yet.
It was blue skies and sunshine yesterday, so it's a very different day. Back to being a little bit murky.
Still, it's a pleasant temperature. Everybody in shorts and t-shirts, or just the worst. 18 with the monitor is Kevin Say, the Macanese driver for Toro Racing, winner of a British GT race at Alton Park. Probably the first, and the only Macanese winner of the race at Alton Park.
Wow. But wasn't it Raffaele Marciello that said doing the British GT Championship was so refreshing for circuits like Alton Park?
Yeah.
Was that the quote? Was that what he said?
It wasn't Raffaele, it was Jules Gounod, who came a year before him. But yes, I mean, I remember talking to Jules for the telecast at Alton, and he'd never raced there before. His father had never raced there either. And his eyes were out like Chapel Hat. I can't believe this place, it's fantastic. And he couldn't have been a better ambassador for it. Yeah, Kevin Say came in 21 and won a guest out on the Tom Oslo Pole.
Did he? Wow.
Yeah. And most recently he's been in the Sky Tempesta racing McLaren, where Andrew Nicoli run, Chris Waddle shared McLaren British GT. As a green flag is now shown, the session is back live. 12 minutes and counting then of our last free practice period before we go into the 5 qualifying sessions for the other half of the day.
So tyre warmers coming off the car of Dano Young. It's dropped down and very quickly sent on its way. A sense of urgency about that. That was good work by the team to be able to respond to that green flag at the end of the pit lane. Things back underway.
You mentioned also the tyre warmers, and you're right so to do. The majority of international GT racing, not exclusively, but the bulk, certainly in SRO's portfolio, is on Pirelli tyres. And these all run on Michelin's. So even if you think you know your car inside out, it might have a slightly different feel to it on a different tyre.
Yeah, slightly different. Yeah.
Something else to factor in. And again, drivers straight out, when you get the warmth into the tyres again, get the pressures up, get the temperatures up, and then they'll be able to exploit those once the outlap is completed, and we'll see hopefully that we can go to the end now.
A grid of dream cars make their way back out onto the gear circuit, a dream circuit and a dream grid as well. Our first chance of savouring GT3 machinery around the Macau circuit as the sunshine does come out now here at Macau for the resumption of this session. As David says, our final free practice session of today, our final free practice session of the weekend, in fact, because it's qualifying for the remainder of this afternoon and then racing all day tomorrow. 2 races for Formula 4 They bookend the date, 8 o'clock in the morning and at 20 to 4 in the afternoon. And the GT3 cars that we're seeing on circuit will race just shortly after midday tomorrow at 12:50 for the GT3 cars. For now, they've got the job of getting everything back up to temperature, get the cars and the brakes, everything working nicely, and they're doing it in a rather large gaggle of cars, aren't they? We've seen that so many times today. They leave the pit lane for the resumption of the session and then have to deal with the result of that, which is to be in traffic. At the head of that traffic is Darrell Young. That was really good by the team to get that car out and on its way. Good work.
Kevin Say is behind him. Darrell Young's Craft Bamboo racing car. Kevin Say's pink and purple car. Looks a bit like a bruise, that Mercedes, but that's from the Toro Racing stable. And then the Audi third in the queue is the car of Henk Kicks. No, Andrew Harrianto, sorry, the sister car, isn't it, that's gone out ahead. And now Kevin Say backs it off so that he can let Darrell Young get away and he can pick up his own speed coming down the hill towards Fisherman's Bend and hopefully carry that momentum onto the start of the next lap and he can go for a time.
And once again, we've got notification that this time Alex Liu is under investigation for... So is there something different about the yellow line coming out of pit lane this year? They changed it. I don't remember seeing that so much before. But certainly we've had at least one car being warned about that in every session this morning.
It might be that drivers sort of try to get over to an apex soon and just clip it rather than clear it completely. Well, Darrell Young goes through then onto a flying lap, and going after him now is Min Heng, another of the Mercedes AMG drivers who's worked his way nicely through the traffic on that out lap as well.
8 minutes and 15 seconds of this free practice session remain for the GT3 cars, just savouring the noise as they come past on the start-finish straight to go on to a flying lap. The rest of the field all making their way through. First out is Darrell Young. He is already top of the times by 1.7 seconds. 2:22.349 is the best lap of this session so far. And of course, all of this is uncompetitive. They get to qualifying in one session over the course of half an hour this afternoon. 2:45 this afternoon, they'll be qualifying. But for now, just enjoying it. The GT3 cars also, they sound a little bit different around here because the noise reverberates around the street circuit. You've got the barriers, you've got the walls, and if they don't sound pretty incredible already, they sound even more incredible when amplified by all the furniture we've got around the circuit.
I mean, it is one of the good things about GT racing. The cars are different shapes and sizes, but yes, for me, it's the engine note, the sound that is so much of the appeal. And you know, sports car racing has gone through different iterations. It's currently got hybrid in sports prototype racing. We had the whispering diesels for a time as well when they were vogue before. It's amazing to think, isn't it, that in quite a short space of time, diesel's gone from being the technology that manufacturers wanted to almost being embarrassed to have. But anyway, such is life. Right, here to Melko hairpin come the Mercedes. Kevin Say then behind Min Heng. Got a yellow flag at turn 15, so that is police. Darrell Young's going quicker again, but I've got a horrible feeling that we might be up for another stoppage here if that yellow doesn't disappear. We'll find out in a moment because Darrell Young comes to the end of the lap. There he is.
He's gone purple in sectors 2, 3 and 4 on this lap. Okay. See if he goes 5 as well. Towards the line.
Done it before. Breaks the beam. Doesn't go fast in the sector, but the lap time is quicker. 2:21.07. Min Heng goes second, and Kevin Say fourth behind Ling Kang now.
So Darrell Young's advantage over Min Heng in second is 2.6 seconds.
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
It is. It's a long circuit, but that's still pretty impressive. 2.6 seconds the advantage for Darrell Young. 5.5 minutes just over of the session remaining, and we're looking at Kevin Say. That's pushing on as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
See that going into Lisboa, neatly around Lisboa as well. That was nicely done. Macau
Road Sport champion, and there is the reason for the yellow. Andrew Harrianto is in the wall, and I don't need to do the rest of the sentence, do I? Because if that car doesn't get away from its police, isn't it, that he's gone wide and gone off, then so it's going to be a stoppage. But the crane is there, so I think they're hopeful that they can get the session to the end and move that car, even if it has to be suspended out of the way.
Let's see, because I fancy there'll be a bit of debris on the circuit as well, and that may well need to be cleared up, which presumably would only safely be able to be done if the session is stopped. But we shall see. Might be that they can control it.
So there's Darrell Young arriving on the scene, and okay, red flag. Compromise everybody's laps because the car won't be moved. So red flag, and what do we have left on the clock? 4.5 minutes. So by the time they've got them in.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think I am. I'm thinking it's time for lunch.
I think the marshals might be thinking that, but they've got a bit of work to do before then. Potentially this session is not going to see a checkered flag, which means the award of free practice morning for the 70th Macau Grand Prix potentially is going to go to the GT4 cars, the only cars to see the checkered flag today.
Yes, you're right. And even they had their dramas, didn't they?
Oh yes, none of the sessions were without dramas.
No.
But hey, we're at Macau.
Very true. And drama is as drama does.
Yes, you're right.
So, yeah. Well, qualifying this afternoon. I'm sort of talking here as though the session won't be restarted. We don't have confirmation of that, so maybe I'm being a bit previous. But even if it can be restarted, they're not going to be able to do more than an outlap, so it all becomes a bit superfluous anyway.
It does, yeah. 3.5 minutes, under 3.5 minutes of the session left to run. Free practice, the clock continues to count down. Qualifying, it will stop. So this afternoon is going to be very different. But yeah, the sessions this morning, there's never been a session really when they can properly get into a groove lap after lap.
You're right. Yeah, it's been a really weird sort of morning, many of them.
A bit bitty. The
Indeed.
sessions have been a bit bitty.
Indeed. Chris Char there, bringing the Phantom Pro Racing Audi back to the pits. We've normally seen him in Mercedes, but with an Audi. Audi's future, of course, is a big GT talking point of late, because Audi Sport, all the cars are going into the paddock, by the way, and the session will not be resumed. Yeah. Audi Sport cutting back, so it concentrates on Formula 1, although there is talk that because Audi is such a strong brand in Asia, there might still be some sort of motorsport program over here.
Yeah.
But what it's going to do to GT racing for next year, and to a lesser degree touring car racing, is put a lot of drivers on the market. Right then, so the session will not be resumed. That's the end of free practice. Qualifying will begin in 40 minutes and a bit with the first of the sessions for tomorrow's races for this first weekend at the 70th anniversary event of Macau Grand Prix. And Darryl Young topping the times then at the end of the free practice session. But like all of them, when it was going, it was good, but just those constant frustrations.
It's just a joy to see the cars on the circuit, isn't it? Absolute joy. GT3 cars at Macau, superb.
So looking down to the grid, to the pit lane, and the cars going into the paddock behind it. And Darryl Young, Min Heng and Lin Kang, the drivers then at the top of the times from Chris Char and then Kevin Say, rounding out the top 5. But we'll have a leaderboard to confirm that. Thus, with a 2:21.076, Darryl Young's time, 2.6 seconds up on Min Heng. Lin Kang third from Chris Char fourth. Kevin Say next from Chang Chen Shang and Lulit Ka. Then Guo Xin and Liao Yang. Anderson He, who stopped out on track 10th, but the cause of one of the 2 red flags. Ran Kun Fan next from Andrew Haryanto and Li Jing Xin. Then Lin Hao, Henk Kix was 15th. Vicento Florendo 16th, and Adrian De Silva rounding out the times at the